lovelies, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be using some upcoming releases from Hematite Dip Co. The release date on these has not been announced yet, but Libby did send me these to try out, so they were gifted to me. This one is Flutter, and it is a beautiful purple magenta that is a color changer. So here's what it looks like in the jar. And then I do have a swatch of it because I did swatch them. So this is what it looks like. And I'll also show you what they look like with the thermal change. This one is Dare, which is a deeper purple. And then there is Pizazz, which is a purple, teal, gold glitter. It has some pinks in there, fine, medium, and chunky glitters. And this doesn't do anything, it's just a glitter, which is fine. We like that, no problem. So I'm going to put these two in my lamp so you can see the colors that they change into. Okay, so this is Dare, and it turned into a pink. And Flutter turns into a light blue. So that was a nice surprise when I swatched these and I tried out the thermal portion. So that is what they change into. So what I'm going to do is use these dips to dip my nails, and then I'm leaving my my middle finger for last. So I'm going to do a design on that, and I actually have that right here. I'm going to attempt to do a little butterfly with glitter underneath it. I saw this technique on YouTube, so I'm going to give it a try. A couple of people have done it. I do have to do some mixing of the Pizazz glitter with some clear gel to create that like glitter gel mix. And I'm going to use Bear from Cascade Colorworks on my middle finger because that's going to be the base color. I'm going to put that gel mix down in the shape of the butterfly, and then I'm going to top it, file it, buff it, then do the black on top for the outline. So, like I said, I'm going to speed up the process. Look at that, it's changing back, of this whole thing, and then come back when I do the middle finger nail art. So stay tuned for that, and happy watching for the dipping. This is my application so far. My hands are very hot because it is very warm in here. So they stayed the color that they are when they get warm. So what I'm going to do now is mix some of Pizazz and some of my clear gel base from CN Designer Dips in this little old dip lid that I have that I'm not going to use for anything. I just want to make sure it's nice and cleaned out. Okay, so I'm just taking this and just dotting it into this cap. And to make things a little faster, I might just pour it in a little bit. If it wants to go in. There we go. Okay, whoop. All right. And then, actually, you know what? Let me put just a little more in with the brush. Okay, so now that I have that down, and yes, I have to clean up my jar there in a little bit, I'm going to lightly put some Pizazz into it. And then I'm going to take one of my cuticle sticks and just start swirling it up to mix it all in. I might have to add a little more glitter into it or a little more gel depending, but I'll know the consistency when it gets there. You don't want it too thick, obviously, because then it won't go on right. But you don't want it too thin either, and you want to have a nice amount of glitter mixed in. So I'm just kind of pushing my glitters that are on the side here in, mixing that. Okay. And some might stick to this, which, you know, is understandable. So when I tested this out on my swatch stick, I actually made the mistake of letting it sit for a while. And while it didn't like completely harden, it did get thicker. So I suggest if you do this, you doing it and then using it right away. Here's how it looks right now. I'm actually going to put a little more of the glitter in, trying to control it so I don't put too much in. And I'm just going to swirl that around in the gel again, just like so, and it makes a glitter gel. So this is now garbage. I have like, I don't even know how many of these, so I'm throwing that away. Now I'm going to take this brush. I believe I got these, it was like a pack of 10 at Sally Beauty Supply, which is literally 2 minutes up the road from my house. So one day when I wanted to try some art stuff, I just ran up there and got some brushes. Oh, and you can see like the tips of these are starting to turn back. That's funny. All right, so I'm going to try and do this facing out because it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing instead of putting it down here and doing it. So this is the nail that I have the buff color from, or no, I'm sorry, not buff, Bear from Cascade Colorworks. I'm just cleaning up the side here. So this is going to be my base for the nail with the butterfly. Okay. So basically you just want to take some of that gel that you just made and start putting it onto the nail in the shape of butterfly wings. Now, I actually was thinking that I might do it a little further out on the nail so it's not like right up in the seam of the nail, because I think that'll look a little bit better since I'm not doing like the butterfly on both sides of my nail or the butterfly on the other nail next to it. So I'm just going and putting some like that, and then putting more coming out on the bottom. Just make sure I can get some that has the glitter. And you might have to go back over it a couple of times. I'm actually going to put it down this way because it is easier for me to hold it. So you're just kind of doing like a butterfly wing shape. And then it'll really get that definition once you put the gel liner on as the outline. Okay, now I'm just going to take another cuticle stick so I can kind of like make it a little more defined in the middle. So I'm just taking this and I'm just pinching that in a little bit, or pushing that in right in the middle there. Okay, and of course this won't harden until you cure it, which is my next step after I get it the shape that I want it. And you can move this around and all that good stuff. Almost like a Pac-Man with that shape. All right, so now I have a flatter brush here. I'm just going to take this and like pat it down a little bit with the flatter brush. This brush came from the same pack as the one I just used. Okay, so this is what you're left with. It's kind of hard to tell right now that it will be a butterfly, but once I do the encapsulation, file it, buff it, come back and we add the details with the gel liners, you'll see how it turns into a beautiful butterfly. So I'm going to cure this now for 90 seconds, encapsulate everything, file, buff, and I'll be back. Okay, so here's how we're looking. I'm going to now go ahead and do the details of that butterfly with the black liner and the white liner. I'm going to use my dotting tool here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this onto the foil. Just dot that on. And then I'm going to take that, move it away, the smaller end of my dotting tool here and just get some of that black onto it and start going along the outline of that glitter. So ever so carefully and as thin as possible, because you don't want to make it too thick. You just want to start tracing that glitter. And then in here, you can put a little bit of an indent where the two wings come together. And then continue down this way. And then bring it up in the middle. And this will be part of the body, and I'll extend that in a second. First, I'm just going to put a little extra thickness down here so we have room for the dots. And up at the top. Oops, okay. And now I'm going to do the body. I know this is kind of awkward to see because I'm holding it a certain way, but you can just extend out this a little bit like that. And then extend this down just like that. And there we go. And I might try and do a little bit of an antenna if I can. If I have room. And if I can get it thin enough. That's the other thing. I don't want to make it too thick. There we go. This is a little butterfly so far. I'm going to cure this up and then we'll come back and do the little accent with the white. Okay, so this is cured up. Now I'm going to take my white liner by the same company and just fold this over to get a fresh piece here so I don't get any of the black into it. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to dot the white right onto the foil. Don't really need a lot here because I'm just doing little dots onto the little lines that we created using the same cleaned off dotting tool. And I'm just going to start making dots around the black. I'm not going to go crazy and put too much on it, just maybe like 3 at each corner. So let me just grab a little bit more. You can make it a little thicker or thinner, however you would prefer. There we go. So now I'm going to cure this again for 90 seconds to make sure it's all cured up. Then I'm going to do my top gel and we'll be back for the final look and some cuticle oil. Okay, this is how everything turned out after doing the top gel. I'm going to go ahead with my Breezy Babe cuticle oil from Diplomatiq Nails and hydrate up these cuticles. I think this came out pretty cool. It was new to me. I've never done anything like this before. If you'd try it and want to tag me on Instagram or here on YouTube, feel free. I would love to see what you come up with. Again, this is a upcoming release from Hematite Dip Co. I am an ambassador for Hematite and my code is Lauren15, which saves you 15%. Once I have more details about when this will be releasing, I will put it up on my community post and also on Instagram. There's going to be more dips. It's not just these 3. There's going to be more. I forget how many off the top of my head, but so stay tuned for the pictures here because I am going to get that transition for you on the thermal colors. And thanks so much for watching as always. Have a lovely day.